just to list them off, we got Hero, Byung. They'll be playing a little bit later. And we also got Sora, another CGensis player. He's playing against Zest here in the beginning of PvP. I feel like we say this nearly every day because it's true. Like you just said, we just have a lot of good players every single day.
Yep, this tournament is stacked. It's been stacked from the beginning. It's been a really fun ride to find out, who's made it all the way up here to the round of 8. We're going to find out 2 round of 4 players today as well. We had some really great matches yesterday. Both matches, in fact, going all the distance, all the way to Game 5. So we could imagine, I expect that we might see something similar to that today. The Protoss versus Protoss is the one that I feel might not. But the team kill, the matchup between 2 CGensis players, that PBT that we're going to see the second match, is the one that I feel could really go the distance.
Yeah, would definitely have to agree with you. I feel like the PvP, I feel like if one player kind of runs away with it, they definitely can take a quick victory, maybe a 3-1 or even a 3-0. I myself would go with Zest, but it feels like you have a little bit of a different opinion about this.
I think Sora's going to take it. I think he looks really confident today. He looks really happy and excited. This is a tournament that he did really well in last year, and obviously got all the way to second place in the grand finals in China. So, I mean, this guy loves this tournament. He's really motivated to do well here. He's got a lot of great practice partners to work with on his team. And Zest is the Kingslayer. He's the type of player who actually defeats top-tier players, the type of player who defeats champions, defeats championship teams. But I don't know. Zest can get a bit shaky in Protoss versus Protoss sometimes. Let's talk briefly about our results from yesterday. TY and Stats advanced over Dark and Super, respectively.
Yeah, both of those series, like you said, going the whole distance. The Game 5, very entertaining series. Definitely like that first series between TY and Dark, that Game 5 especially, really, really close. And for today, like we did mention, we got Sora versus Zest in PvP. And then we got Hero versus Byung in the PvT.
Yep, so all these matches, by the way, for next week will be the round of 4. And then next Tuesday, it will be the grand finals and the third place match. It's like the top 3 players that are going to this tournament. The top 3 players will be advancing to the national, finals in China, the grand finals, I should say. This is the national finals in Korea, but top 3 players are going to China, going to Chengdu, and it's going to be awesome.
Yep. This match today, I feel like, is actually the most important one. You get past the round of 16, you go to the round of 8. If you can get to the round of 4, the semifinals, you have basically 2 chances. Even if you lose, you can go to that 3rd and 4th place match and still possibly get through in 3rd place.
Yeah. So our matches today, Sora versus Zest, Protoss versus Protoss. I'm leaning towards Sora. Talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But then Hero versus Byung is the next matchup that we're going to be seeing. A PvT, a team kill, so it could be a weird one. Byung loves his mech on Outboxer, but I'm afraid that's not in the pool anymore. So I think we're going to see some pretty straight-up lazy boy pushes, some mid-game aggression out of Byung, and Hero's just going to try to get to that late game. His Storms, his Colossi, etc.
That's really where he shines. And honestly, I feel like Hero just a very solid Protoss throughout. I feel like he's a little bit better than Byung overall, just a little bit more solid, and I feel like he'll take that one. I feel like it'll be pretty close. Byung, he definitely can surprise a lot of people sometimes. He is definitely a top player here in Korea, but Hero, he's just got that little extra edge, I feel.
Absolutely. I feel like because it's a team match, though, could get a bit weird. We could end up going to the 5th game, but I favor Hero as well going into that second match. I know a lot of people would like to see a second Terran in the round of 8, or rather, excuse me, in the round of 4. He already is the second Terran in the round of 8. And if you could imagine, Byung and TY, both of them could potentially end up in our grand finals in China. So we could have a few more Terrans going over there. I know the Terran scene is pretty strong overseas as well. So, going to that grand final, of course, we'll be giving you guys a little bit more details about that, because you and I will both be in China for that. We'll be talking a lot about the regions and how they're doing a little bit later. But let's focus on Korea for now. And first of all, let's focus on this guy. This guy in the round of 16 advanced, beating both Pure and Younghwa, getting out in first place. A result that surprised a lot of people, but not me. I'm looking at this guy as a big favorite to win this whole tournament.
Yeah, I mean, in that group, you had Pure, a guy who actually fell down in 4th place, like, really quickly. He just got crushed in that group. I was expecting him to either get out in 1st or 2nd place, but no, Sora just crushed him in the first one. Forget who crushed him in the second one, but, yeah, Sora, he's able to make it through.
Well, Sora looking good. Zest, though, never count this guy out. Ended up losing a match to Trap, actually, in the round of 16.
Another Protoss.
Yep. And then beat Classic. He was in that PvP group, so he beats Classic, and then is able to beat Trap in the rematch. A pretty close series there. He narrowly escaped his round of 16 group. Sometimes Zest PvP can be a little bit shaky. He's got this really strong amount of confidence. When he does a drop, when he does a Zealot drop, when he does a move out, he's really confident about it. His harass and his control, his micromanagement in the game is quite strong, but sometimes his decision-making in the late game can be problematic, and also sometimes he gets a bit ahead of himself, gets a bit nervous or stressed out, he falls behind in a series.
Oh, hello there.
Thanks
like
for coming.
The beards and the hats, of course. Well, let's jump right into bans and picks for this one. Sora banning out Catalina, a big map there, 3-player map, and then Zest bans out Nimbus. Then he picks King Sejong Station, then over to Sora, he picks Overgrowth and Merry-Go-Round, and the last pick there for Zest was Foxtrot Labs, leaving game number 5 on Deadwing.
Yeah, Deadwing being the last map here, plus the fact that these guys banned Catalina and Nimbus, makes it feel like they do not want to play a late game. Neither of them do. Starting things off with King Sejong as the first pick, then into Overgrowth. Only in game 3 do we see Merry-Go-Round, and then Foxtrot goes all the way down to pick 4. So these guys want to play on smaller maps. They want to keep it simple, which makes me feel like we're going to see a lot of early game aggression. We're going to see a lot of Blink Stalker play, and possibly even just your early Oracle type aggression.
Yeah, I feel like Zest maybe a little bit leaning more towards that Oracle. I know he loves to do it. He's gotten punished for it sometimes, getting punished by Billowy a long time ago, and in other such games as such. If Sora, if he's watching this guy, Zest actually has a ton of PvPs that he's played and a ton of information on this guy.
Yeah, he really does. There's a lot of information out there for him to study. Sora's been preparing for this tournament really hard. He didn't have to worry about the Codests or anything else right now, just this tournament. Let's go into game number 1, Sora versus Zest here in the round of 8.
Up here on the top left in the red, the Protoss player, he is Sora.
And down here at the bottom right in blue, it's Zest. Very strong Protoss player representing KT Rolster here, the odd man out of this round of 8 set of matches today.
And you know what? We already had 2 KT Rolster players getting through. We had TY and both Stats getting through here. So Zest, if he gets through as well, that'll be 3 KT players that could possibly go to China.
Yeah, and that means, he's definitely going to have at least 1 KT player actually there. In fact, at least 2 if Zest advances. So that's just something to keep in mind, as 3 out of 4 players will make it to China. There's a bit of prize pool, actually, for this tournament as well. This is not just about advancing. This is a big tournament, a lot of production, so there's quite a bit of prize money involved, as this is the strongest region. This is, just to put it in perspective, this is not just a bunch of people meeting up at a LAN center for their region to play a tournament really quick to see who's going to China. This is like the top-tier tournament. We've got fans coming across the world. We have foreign fans here in Korea watching this match because these players are so good. We've got a huge studio production. This is on television. Okay, so this is a really big deal for this country. This country has, for very, very many years in StarCraft, just always been the top country for StarCraft. StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, both. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely a very important tournament. Right off the bat here, the only thing I noticed really different is that Zest actually went for a slightly faster gate here. Not 11, but on 12. So we will get that slightly faster than Sora here.
Yeah, you can see that on the production tab. Dropping it down a little bit earlier. Go ahead and put a second pylon over here to the left side. Spreading them out a little bit more. Good Sora's more conservative placement there. And he's going to go for an earlier scout. And actually not a scout. He's going for a proxy.
Yeah. We see this a lot on this map, actually. Pretty funnily,
Zest is checking. He might actually build his tech.
Yeah. I think he's going to put a Stargate down here.
Well, this is going to get really funky.
This could be proxy Stargate versus slightly proxy Stargate, I guess.
Well, a hidden Stargate, I guess, is probably the best way to describe it.
Low ground.
Could be a Twilight Council, though. Don't forget.
I mean, actually, could be anything. With that quick Mothership core, looks like he's not going to have enough gas for that Stargate. Just going to put down that Twilight.
This placement is kind of funky. I don't know if he's going to end up doing Dark Shrine or not. This Sora Scout will actually be picked off here. Pylon does go down, meanwhile. And Zest is checking. We'll actually see this. Should see this.
Oh!
Does he turn and check? He didn't. He didn't. Was
No.
not looking at the screen.
Yeah,
I
he
can't
saw
believe
the probe.
was even falling because he doesn't know, or does he? Well, that's crazy. Actually, doesn't check.
That's wow. That was so unbelievably close. And you know, like you were saying, I guess he just didn't. He wasn't looking at the moment. And look at this. Zest is going to throw down a Dark Shrine.
Well, this is really good for Zest. This is almost certainly going to be a proxy Oracle play. There's not much else you can do with a Stargate like this. And he's going to miss it. He's going to miss it because it's just out of vision.
Oh, come on. He's targeting it, too. He changed the path to go scout over here. I think he senses something. You know, he came all the way back. He saw the probe, I guess, of Sora.
Just doesn't want to leave anything to chance. And, you know, with this Oracle, it can grant detection, but it's a long way from home. So when the Oracle comes out and burns all of its energy killing probes, it's going to be hard for that to come home and actually detect the DTs. The Dark Shrine is about 70% done right now. He's got 2 Stalkers at home to deter the Oracle. This is looking really good for Zest. I really can't imagine Sora actually making this Oracle do equivalent damage. Let's find out, though. I don't think he has anything at home. No sentries, nothing.
Oh, man, here we go. Oracle
okay, the scout, though. He scouts it.
Yeah,
he just wants to turn this around and send it home right now and get that detection up. He's sending it home right away. Starts a robo immediately as well. He's going to pick off this probe. And the first DT has been warped in. It's got a long way to walk, though.
That pylon is really far out because the probe was scouting a lot. He wasn't close enough to make a closer pylon. And look at this. He's going to try to block the ramp, it looks like, as well. Already setting up 1 Stalker. Second one on the way. Doesn't look like it's going to get back in time, but he has it.
He's just got that detection there. 2 Stalkers going to kill this guy. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
That detection on that Oracle lasts a long time. Almost lemon squeezy, but he did take a few damage hits on that Stalker. Now I would have said that was not quite lemon squeezy, but easy peasy.
All right.
A nice cleanup, and despite what I thought, Sora with that scout there and the quick reaction to send that Oracle home right away is able to get this. Part of the problem being that pylon placement was so far away for Zest to get those DTs in.
Yeah, really was. Oracle's trying to come back here and possibly get some damage. We did see Sora at the end of this whole bout. Looked like he went down, or rather he was up on probes by about 5, and he's going to continue that race. He's ahead 4 now.
And with the loss of that Zest pylon, he's actually supply blocked here. It's going to cost him a lot. I like Zest's position quite a lot here, though, because he does have that robotics, and that's something that Sora is missing. He spent a lot of gas on those 3 sentries. And, oh no, he actually has it now. He does get that robo now. I forgot. He had it faster, but they both have robos. Okay, so that being said, which tech is more useful? Is it the Oracle tech or is it the Dark Templar tech? Because they're both those techs that are really useful in the early game and then really useful in the late game oftentimes because you can surprise someone with DTs. You can use the Oracle. Oh, wow.
Look at this. Zest, I like to talk about this a lot with Zest. He's a very confident player. He is not scared to go for something tricky like this, but sometimes it gets scouted and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. He really likes to be tricky.
Yeah. Well, let's see how this works. I mean, it's going to be double Phoenix. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
He needs to deny this hallucination scout, but I don't think he'll be able to, especially because the Stalkers are away chasing this Oracle. This is no coincidence. He wants to make sure all the I'm like trying to give him points here, but looks like he's just going to scout with this instead. Needs to get to that bottom left of the base, though. He hasn't seen anything yet.
Yeah, and that Oracle is stuck on the right side. He's sending out another hallucination, but if you look at the mini-map, okay, our observer is going to show us. He is going to scout this, so he is going to know. There we go.
Let's see how Zest reacts to this scout. I mean, you pretty much have to continue making Phoenixes. That's just too much gas to have spent to not commit to this. But what Sora can do is go ahead and get his Twilight Council up and add a few cannons. Because he has the Forge, he's had it for a while. He's got 1 cannon up in his main. Just a few cannons, Nexus cannon. All of these things are going to make shutting this down a lot easier.
Yeah, and I mean, he already has that cannon for the DT. Like, if Zest wanted to, he could have possibly tried to go for some War Prison Morass with the DTs, but Sora just very prepared. And what I'm concerned about is how much is Zest actually going to commit to this? Because as you get later and later, the Phoenix is not going to be the best killing Colossi and stuff like this. You already see Sora has 1 out already, and more on the way.
I think he may end up switching out of Colossi after the second one. Because, you know, you want to get Charge out, you get the Archons out, and the Archons are going to just, obviously, they can't even be lifted by Phoenixes. Nexus Cannon goes down here. He's not even going to commit to killing that Mothership Core. It's just not worth it. But this is a scary moment where he moves out with that first Colossus. He's got that Warp in down the bottom left at that, you know, proxy Stargate location. And there's definitely not going to be any third base anytime soon. In fact, Zest is going to be hard-pressed to hold this. He doesn't have enough Phoenixes just yet.
Is this his first Immortal, actually? Look at how many Stalkers are out right now.
But still, yeah, it's only one Immortal that's out at this moment.
Yeah.
And here comes a hallucinated Colossus, making this targeting a little bit harder. In fact, he gets a third one. And he's just going to try to force his way through here. Sentries are basically paperweights right now. And probes come off the line, but Zest is really hard-pressed to hold this. In fact, now he targets the Nexus down, and I think he needs to be a little bit more careful with that because these Sentries don't do a lot of damage. But with another round of Warp-ins, you should be fine. Plus, I think another Colossus is going to come join pretty soon. Yeah. Here come those Phoenixes.
Look at all those Stalkers that just joined in there. He has like 6 gates back at home. Phoenixes finally come back. They are targeting the right one, so he does get the Colossus down, and he is holding for now. Just pushing him back.
Yep. Good kiting here. The target on the Nexus was a bit questionable. That was a bit weird. But regardless, he warps in a ton more units right at the front this time. And force fields are going to make these Zealots all the more useful. Unfortunately, they get a bit stuck here, though. Sentries do get picked off, but it's not really the big part of this army. He just needs to make sure he can keep his Immortals alive. With these force fields, though, it's very difficult. I think Sora has overstayed his welcome.
Yeah, he really has. So many Immortals are coming out at a time. He did lose one, but he has 2 that are decently healthy there. There's 1 at full health. He's making more. So we got that +2 on the way.
That started out great, and then he stayed way too long. He's in trouble now. I mean, already his +2 is on the way. His Blink research, I do not agree with that. I don't even know what his idea with that is. This Oracle is just going to sack it. Does a reveal here too before he dies.
Pretty cool.
Oh, nice placement on these Phoenixes. There's only 4 Phoenixes on the ground, or rather in the air, excuse me, on the map.
Yeah.
That's not enough to warrant Blink.
Yeah, and it really isn't.
It's just not going to be useful in almost any other way for the rest of this game.
Blink's never really the best answer to all these Phoenixes, regardless as well. I mean, if you get a ton of Blink Stalkers out here, they can be good against a small number of Colossi if you get really good positioning, but outside of that, you know, I'm not really sure about this. I would have much rather liked to see that charge come out here very quickly and maybe go into just charge load Archon, have a couple of Colossi in the bag to support.
I mean, it looks to me like he just wants to end the game with these Blinks, but that's like the only thing that would make sense to me. But he's making a third Nexus, he's getting +2. So I guess he just really wants to have this aggressive force to maybe cancel a third base, maybe catch some Immortals, especially these Immortals that got a bit too far, which he does know about. He saw them kill his Pylon. And those Immortals are so exposed. Blink is not done yet. 12 seconds on that. Well, this is just too many Immortals here. Plus the Phoenixes. In fact, he's going to want to use that Blink to get out of here in a second.
Yeah. Zest is actually on the chase right now. You can actually pick up these some of the Stalkers if he wants. Can be a bit risky because there are so many, but if he has that whole army together, possibly could work. Third base is now coming up here.
Blink Stalkers are just a composition that in late game PvP, or even in the mid game, just generally speaking, after like the 10 to 12 minute mark, you don't want to research Blink, except in very specific circumstances, like when your opponent's got a ton of Blink Stalkers and you need that counter Blink to actually be able to fight with them in the middle of the map. It's just not that useful of an upgrade. In this case, if he gets in here and does damage, we'll see. He's going to come in here and be able to pick off a few Pylons at least. Actually going for the Robotics instead. And there's not a very quick response here.
Yeah, doesn't even cancel that Colossus. He's going to lose that Colossus that was about to pop out here. Very nicely done by Sora. He is using that Blink. And look at this, at the same time, Warps and Zealots here at the third base denies that mining.
Oh, you gotta say, I just don't think he was expecting this many Blink Stalkers to suddenly come into his main. It's not really a threat. It's not really an issue you think about when your opponent goes for tech like this. Those Zealots do finally get cleaned up. But he's got his own third base under attack. Yep. Zest is microing this at the same time, so that's part of the reason why he had a bit of a flop there, I think, in his defense.
What do you think about this Dark Shrine? Do you think he's just trying to catch Zest off guard or possibly go for some drops or something?
Well, you know, it worked once, and he killed the Robo, so he might be thinking there's not too many observers on the map. There's only one on the map, in fact, right now. And he's actually going to try to go over here and snipe this. He's making a fool out of me, man, insulting him for getting those this Blink Stalkers out. Not insulting, but rather, you know, speaking ill of, I should say. It's working out really well for him so far. We'll see about the late game, but for now, doing pretty well, better than these Phoenixes are. And he's just going to come around here. He's actually, this map allows you to do this so easily because you can now go into the main base and blink out. Except, surprise, I kept some defense at home this time.
He is losing so many Stalkers. Look at this blink as well. Misblinks a lot of those Stalkers, loses even more. And look at those units lost, Tab. So many units lost here for Sora. He's going to try to make that up here at the third base, though, with 3 DTs.
There's only one observer on the map. It's right with this army. He's split those DTs, though. Really surprised he's not doing that.
2 of them get swiped, and the other one's just attacking idly. I guess he was just trying to control these Stalkers.
This has been a totally nutso game. 20 worker deficit right now between these two. And here comes another blink into the main. He's going to try to kill a few more of these probies. And see, gets about 3 or 4 maybe. Gets a pylon on his way out. So right now it's awkward for Zest because he's got the better army for sure. But he just doesn't have the economy to support it. He's even trying to add a fleet beacon right now. That's going to be pretty expensive.
Yeah. Blink trying to finally stop that Phoenix harass. Seems like, you know, those Phoenixes at some point they weren't even able to lift because they used all their energy. It took Sora a big while to get used to that and actually stop that. But for now, he's getting his 4th base. And he does have a lot of probes left over, so he should be okay.
Colossus count is insane. It definitely warrants a Tempest transition. Double Stargates coming up for Sora now, as he knows he can afford to produce off of those at this point in time in the game. And much easier than his opponent. And his own Stargate is actually still alive to the bottom left, so it almost makes you wonder if he's going to make Tempest or not, because I think he would have added a Fleet Beacon too if he had planned to do that, because he's got that Stargate, so he could make one.
Yeah. Nice snipe on the Observer there. It's going to stop that annoying harass unless he sort of decides to commit to getting another one over there.
Wow, 3 Stargates and +1. Now this is starting to remind me of that PvP we saw between these two on Maze. You're actually talking to Kanata, Korean commentator, with the Monday caster about that earlier in the makeup room, because we had some disagreement on who we thought was actually going to win this match. Okay, he's doing a Void Ray switch. So that's what I was thinking, because he didn't make that Fleet Beacon. I was wondering about this.
This guy really is your player, Wolf. This is like your buddy.
This is my dude. He's my dude, man. Not my dude, man, but like he's my dude, man.
Okay.
So let's see. It doesn't get scouted.
Oh, man.
He's like, oh, I need Tempest. A lot of Colossi over here. But Tempests are not very good against Void Rays in high numbers. Then again, Archons and Stalkers, if you spread them well and get that good concave when you fight the Void Rays can be paperweights in late game PvP. I know it sounds crazy to say, and especially coming from me, but sometimes in this matchup you don't always have to respect the Void Rays, unless you're Creator Prime and your opponent has like 22 of them. But yeah, let's see how many of these he gets away with making before he gets scouted, because if you don't know that you need to counter the Void Rays, then you can't even attempt to respect them.
Yeah. This, again, is just another tricky play. This is like an awesome PvP to start off with. And look at this, Sora over here. He's got the full scout on Zest. He has that Observer right over those Stargates. Sees all of those Tempests that are quote-unquote hiding back at the base there of Zest.
Hiding in plain sight.
Pretty much.
As Rorschach would say. That 4th base is so late, by the way, for Zest. Sora's had his up for so much longer. Zest is like a really confident player when it comes to his harass. When it comes to his move outs in mid and late game PvP, he just seems oftentimes a bit lost. The Tempest idea is a smart one, but he just still doesn't know about those Void Rays. And the Void Rays are going to make these Colossi laughable. They're going to get knocked down so quickly. And he's still making 3 at a time here. And these Stalkers can actually go and harass this base when it gets up and mining. Go stand behind that base and harass it. Something that Zest could be doing himself. He could actually be moving behind that base, swiping the probes with his Colossi, then moving around. With his Mothership core, he's got the ability to recall. Now he's really getting ready to force an engagement here. He has +3 for his ground, +1 air weapons, though, for Sora's Void Rays. Now, these Stalkers are a bit out of position, and that's a great tag there on that army.
Yeah, really is. Stalkers just running right into the army of Zest there, the Tempest having such long range. I'm not sure if Sora has enough Void Rays here to fight this off. He does get the Mother Sora immediately. The Tempest, though, in the back have total control.
This is all about the Void Rays right now. He's using that prismatic alignment. And the Colossi get to do everything they want because those Time Warps are eliminated. He's just killing the Archons first, and then the Tempests are going to go down next. The ground army here just does not matter. In fact, he should be sending those zealots to harass the third base at least, because just having them run here is totally useless. DT is over here for the defense, plus these cannons. Looks like this may just end up being too much for Zest to handle. Now at least he knows what he needs to make. He needs to make a lot of Stalkers and Archons to deal with these Void Rays.
Yeah, immediately 3 Archons and 2 more High Templar on the production tab. Just needs to deal with these Void Rays. I see a big smile on your face as you're seeing the Void Rays being respected, basically.
He needs to get those Archons out right away. Archons are not armored, so they don't get affected by that prismatic alignment. Beyond that, you know, they do AoE damage, and Void Rays have a tendency to stack. That's part of the reason why they're so strong, in fact, because they can all do damage on you know, very focused on a small area. They don't need to be fanned out to do their damage. And you do have to, you know, split them manually when you fight against Archons, so making Archons is the right choice here. A ton of extra minerals here for Zest. By the way, our observer is highlighting this. It's important to note because he could be doing a lot with that. And those extra gateways he's making right now are so late. Could have made those a long time ago and could have been doing a lot of Zealot harass. This is that late game Sora that we're seeing here that Zest just, he's not able to match.
Yeah, Sora definitely showing his prowess here in the late game. Zest just not having the best decision making so far. Needs to take those gases at his fourth base at least. If he's going to float this many minerals, he has to at least even it up here. He's just not dealing with this DT wall either.
No, he's not. He's actually killing his own probes to kill it. He's actually attacking his own probes there for a second. Like, finally does end up getting that observer over here.
Yeah.
But he's lacked the infrastructure of having cannons for defense. Sora has had so much money. He's had that fourth base for so long. He could take a fifth base pretty soon. Yeah, fifth base in PvE, that's what I said. And he has just all that extra gas to be able to make double Void Ray production constantly. And he's making the switch into Colossi now because he knows the last thing Zest wants to make is Tempest against this many Void Rays. He gets his Colossus count up because he can afford to with 2 Colossi at a time coming out here. He's going to be able to deal with these Zealots and Archons on the ground, no problem. It's a great composition against Void Rays, but Sora's already moving away from that.
Yeah, and look at this, even this late into the game, getting some harass done with those Stalkers that have survived for so long here.
I think he's getting ready to recall. He might try to snipe this base and recall. Time Warp would be so nice, though, against this Zealot army. This is really starting to remind me of that Maze game.
Yeah,
it was almost pure Zealot out of Zest.
Nearly identical. I mean, look at this, Zest is just rerouting that army. He does not want to fight that army. He's just going for the counterattack here.
Okay, going to leave the Zealots to kill it. There's the recall. And he's just going to let this base fall, but he needs to get set up over here. He's got a wall. He's got those cannons. There's a lot of Archons. It's 8 Archons right now. His Colossus count's only at 3. He's about to have a 4th and 5th one in just a second. Yep. And God, Zest is just a bit nervous here. He's just moving his army around all over the place. You know, he doesn't save his base. He doesn't do much more than cancel a 5th base, which doesn't really matter when he himself is still on 3 bases.
Yeah. We're actually just seeing Sora play this so much better. Look at this. He gets flanked from both sides by the Void Rays. Doesn't even have all of his Archons together at the same time. He is flanking those Colossi in the back. That is something to note, and he is warping in a ton of units there on that Warp Prism. But is it going to matter in the end with all these Void Rays?
He needs to send the Zealots somewhere else. I know this is masochistic what we're watching here. Just leave the Zealots to die on the Void Rays. Send them somewhere else. You know, there they can be useful. They can kill these other Zealots, but
he just GG's.
He was basically dead, but man, he just looked so flustered. Sora's got his number right now.
Definitely true. Man, I'm beginning to see the light a little bit here. Sora is just playing this so well. His PvP is pretty masterful. He's practiced a lot, and it's obvious that he's studied Zest. He's gotten Zest like this before, like we said so many times on Maze, and he does it here on King Stadium Station, a 2-player map that is decently sized, but it's not the biggest one in the pool. Sora's looking really good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Just his decision-making in general, it looks better than Zest right now.
He forced the late game. He made it into that position. Hiding the Void Rays is really important.